Alright guys, so today we concluded our trilogy on our lesson over the last few days of Divide and Conquer. And if you remember, this was Divide and Conquer Part 3, Revenge of the Decimal. Okay, so I want to do a recap on everything that we've covered so far. So, talking about addition and subtraction of decimals. Alright, when we add and subtract decimals, we have to line up our decimal. Right? Line up your decimal! Remember? Alright? So, that's when we're adding and subtracting. When we multiply, what do? We ignore the decimal until the end, and then we go and count our places. Alright? And then we started division. Alright? In division, we came to, if we have a decimal only in the dividend, if only the dividend has a decimal, then it is what it is. Okay? And I'm going to remind you a couple things of what we've done. Alright? If you guys remember, and I'm sure everybody remembers this from earlier today, so I'm just going to leave this up. I'm not going to erase it because I'm sure we'll be using it tomorrow when we go over the homework. Alright? But remember, we started off we started part 1 with this problem. Remember, we started talking about multi-digit division. Alright? And what did we say? Alright, we said 80 will go into 240 3 times. 3 times 0, 3 times 8, 24. Alright? My answer is 3. Yesterday, I changed it. I said, what happens yesterday we said what happens, right, when we have that decimal in our dividend, right? We said what happens when we have that decimal in our dividend, okay? And then we worked it out. We said it is what it is. So we brought our decimal up, and we found out that the answer was 0, 0, 3. Yes, everybody remembers that part. Okay, so the question today, and what I'm going to pose to you guys today was, and when we talked about it in class, so today's question was 0.80, actually 0.240 divided by 0.80. And you can kind of see that though our numbers are the same, our decimal place is changing. Okay? So even though we got 3 here and 3 over there, these 3 and 3 1/1000ths is a big difference. Okay? So as we look here, alright, now we've talked about all those rules, and like I said Friday, we're going to do a whole cheat sheet with it for you guys so you've got the notes that you need. But remember, we said today that to do division, and this is why I kept saying in the dividend, okay? Because we cannot have a decimal in our divisor. You guys remember that? Yeah. So we cannot have a decimal in our divisor. So we have to get rid of it. Now today I had you try it out on your own before I went over and told you this. Some of you remembered it from previous years. Some of you didn't. That's fine. But remember the rule. The rule said the dividend, and I'm going to erase this here. I'm going to leave these here so we can all compare them. But the divisor cannot have a decimal. Alright? It must be a whole number. Now we went over today and we talked about how do I do that? How do I make my divisor a whole number? And everybody said, you got to move it, Mr. Hearn. You got to move it. What do I got to move? I have to move my decimal. So, if I'm going to move my decimal, all right, some of you can move it here. Is 8 a whole number? Yes, it is. You can stop there. Some of you saw the 2 digits, and you went ahead and put it there. That's fine. Either way is fine. As long as, remember we're losing that decimal. Either way is fine as long as whatever I do to my divisor I do to my dividend. Okay? Whatever I do to my divisor, I do to my dividend. So I move twice in my divisor, so I'm going to move twice in my dividend. 1, 2. Okay? Now, I have a decimal in my dividend, right? So it is what it is, even though that zero's there, but let's go ahead and bring it up. So, will 80 go into 24? Nope. Will 80 go into 240? We already know the answer to that. 80 goes into 240 3 times. 3 times 80 gives me 240. I subtract it down. I have a remainder of 0. I'm done. So now, look how different those decimal places changed our question. Okay? So remember, when we're dividing and we have that decimal in the divisor, all right, you guys, you got to get rid of it. Now, we talked about this as well today. Okay, we talked about this as well. Hang on, let me erase this out of the way. Give myself some room to work. All right, so we talked about this one today too. This is the one I actually used in class, and this one kind of melted some people's brains. Okay. Alright? And some people just jumped up like, I got the answer, I got the answer, I got the answer. Alright? And then they found out later that they were wrong. Okay? So, the rule that I just covered said we cannot have a decimal in our divisor, right? We got to make it a whole number. Okay? So, if I'm going to do that, how many places do I need to move my decimal? Right? I need to move it 1 time. Alright? So if I move it 1 time in my divisor, I have to move it 1 time in my dividend. This caused problems today. Alright, this caused a lot of problems today. Remember, every whole number has a 0 behind it. Okay, and when I said that today, some of y'all were like, whoo! I got it, I got it. It was like watching the light bulb come on. So if I look at it, it's actually 2 point up. Alright? There is that 0 behind any whole number. We just need to use it when we need it. Alright? And in this case, we need it. So, I moved 1 time in my divisor, then I'm going to move 1 time in my dividend. Okay? And then I'm going to bring my decimal up. Now, everybody should know 5 goes into 20. How many times? 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20 with 0 as a remainder, okay? Listen, guys, this is a problem. I'm going to do number 6 on the tutorial. All right, it was a problem today. You guys keep forgetting. If I've got to go over 4 places, I go over 3 places, I run out of numbers, I forget that that 0 is there. And like I said in the 4th period today, you guys love putting that 0 in the front. But when it comes to having that 0 behind that number, we have issues, okay? So I hope you guys have liked the whole divide and conquer thing we've done this week. Today was the final day of it. Test is going to be on Monday for any parents that are watching. We're going to review on Friday. Tomorrow we're going to be doing mean, median, and mode. All right, and that's the last thing we got to do before we test on Monday. All right, other than that, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it.